Anin, Bojo, Joel Egoista Indigenous. Welcome to another episode of White Buffalo Circles at Home Edition. Today, my daughter and I are going to be talking about the drum. We're going to look at a little bit of history and teachings, and maybe even share a song. So, hope you guys enjoy. Hope you're being safe. See you soon. All right. Ani Sunshine.
Ani.
How you doing today?
Good.
Good stuff. So, on one of my earlier visits, I talked about plastic and metal and how Anishinaabe people, we never wanted to do anything to hurt Mother Earth, right? So we didn't make things out of metal and plastic because the process creates pollution, hurts Mother Earth. Now, if we don't have lots of metal and plastic, that means we don't have a whole lot of musical instruments. So we didn't have pianos or guitars or saxophones or trumpets or flutes or harmonicas, because most of those instruments have metal. They're made from metal. But we have always had the drum. This is my teaching drum. Now this is a replica. It is a synthetic drum. It is a copy of a traditional First Nations hand drum. It is actually made from plastic and a synthetic material, fiberglass, around the outside. Now, the reason I have this teaching drum is because I usually do not let people play with my hand drum. In the Ojibwe culture, drums are very special. They're considered sacred items. Remember that word sacred? It has that connection to spirit. Right? So, this is my drum. Now, my wife made this drum for me a long time ago. And only I get to play this drum. This is very special to me. And drums are very personal items. This is my hand drum. Now, traditional hand drums are made from rawhide from a deer, usually the hand drums are, and white cedar around the outside. And on the inside of my drum, I have a little tobacco tie from when we first birthed it. And I also have some sweetgrass that I like to keep in there as well, just to keep that energy nice and safe. So that is my personal hand drum. Now, I would never let students play with my hand drum. This is a very personal item. Only I have that drum to drum for me. But this is my teaching drum. So this is a really good replica, and it gives kids a really good idea of what the traditional First Nations hand drum sounds like. You want to give it a try? When you're drumming on the drum, you do not want to hold your drumstick really tight. And you don't want to hold it up here. You want to hold it by the handle nice and loose. It's almost like a ball. You want it to bounce off of that drum so you get that really nice sound. If you stick it, that doesn't sound bad, right? But when you let it bounce, oh, you get that nice reverberation, that good echo. Here, I'll come over, I'll let you give it a little drum. Pop them right on the nose. Do a few times. Boom, boom, boom. Nice, good job. I know you got your own little hand drum inside the house that Shomus made for you a long time ago. So, we've had these drums for thousands and thousands of years. And when we first made these drums, we were trying to copy a certain sound. Sunshine, do you know what the very first sound you ever heard in your whole life was?
Oh.
What do you think the first sound your ears ever heard when you were a little baby?
Bat.
A bat? When you were a baby? Come on now. I'll tell you what, this is the first sound you ever heard. And I know it's the first sound you heard because the first sound that I heard is the first sound that every human being on this planet hears. Listen close. What do you hear? Try to listen. Close your eyes. makes that sound? Think about your body. Think about nature.
Heart.
Your heartbeat. That's right. The very first sound every single human hears is the heartbeat of your mom. Before you're even born, you're still inside of that water in your mom's belly. That's when your ears start to develop. They turn on and they start to work. And the very first sound every human hears is that sound of our mother's heartbeat. That sound woke you up. That sound put you to sleep. That sound made you feel so safe, warm, protected inside of your mom's belly. You've never been so safe and protected than we were listening to our mother's heartbeat inside of her belly. That's why a lot of times if you take a baby to a powwow, even when you were a little baby, when you get to that powwow grounds and you hear those drums drumming in the distance, a lot of babies will fall right to sleep because it takes them back to the womb when they're in their mom's belly listening to their mother's heartbeat. So when we made these drums thousands of years ago, we were trying to copy a heartbeat. But not your heartbeat, not my heartbeat. We were trying to, we thought to ourselves, what if Mother Earth had a heartbeat? If Mother Earth had a heartbeat, Sunshine, would it be quiet?
No.
Oh. It would be loud, right? It would be booming, that Mother Earth's heartbeat. So when we play these drums, that's what we're thinking about. We're thinking about our connection to Mother Earth. The connection that we all have to our mother. Through that drum, we represent her heartbeat. So that's my teaching drum. And again, this one is my hand drum. Now we also had other musical instruments as well. We didn't just have drums. We also had shakers. Now, most people today will call them rattles, but we call them shakers. Now this is a shaker that is actually made from the buffalo horn. This is a centerpiece of a buffalo horn that was hollowed out. Everything else is wood and leather, all natural materials from Mother Earth. So that one's got a kind of a high-pitched sound to it, right? This one, this is actually a branch from a tree. And this is a naturally occurring knot that grew on the tree. And we hollowed it out, turned it into a shaker. Yeah, another shaker, right? All natural. This one, you know what this one's made from. You can see it.
A turtle.
Ah, that's a turtle shell. Good job. My auntie made this for my father a long time ago. And when my dad passed away, I inherited it. So it's got this beautiful turtle shell on top, some leather to close it off, and some rabbit fur, and it's all wood and leather. Again, everything found in Mother Nature. And they all have a slightly different sound. Now, there's another type of drum too that I like to talk about, and that's called the grandfather drum. So this is a grandmother drum, also known as a hand drum. The grandfather drums are huge, great big drums. Some people call them powwow drums. And if you ever go to the powwow, that's the kind of drum that you'll see. Now, anybody can play the hand drum. Kids, boys, girls, moms, dads, it doesn't matter. But the grandfather drumming at powwow is generally for the men. And there's a reason for that. In today's day and age, everyone thinks, well, how come girls can't do the grandfather drum if we want to drum too? And it's not about guys and girls and things like that. The grandfather drum was actually given to the men a long, long time ago from the women. The women gifted us that drum. Now, during the day back then, most of the time, you know what the men were doing? They were hunting. During the day, the men would go hunting to try to get some food for the family. And if you ever get to go hunting, Sunshine, you cannot talk. When you get on the line, you get into your position in the forest, you got to be absolutely quiet, absolutely still. If me and you are hunting and we're talking and laughing and joking it up, are the animals going to come close to us? No, because we're being way too loud. They're going to know we're there and they're not going to come anywhere near us. So when you get in the bush and you go hunting, you're going to be absolutely quiet, absolutely still. That way the animals will come up really close. When they get there nice and close, you jump up and you can right? So we weren't allowed to talk during the day. We were in the bush being quiet, trying to get dinner for our families. So the women, they were back at the village. The women ran our community. They were doing all kinds of stuff all day, taking care of the kids, doing everything that needed to be done in our community to maintain our culture and our society. Now, they got to talk, and they got to laugh, and they got to joke with each other all day long. They got to socialize. Whereas the men being in the bush all day, we didn't get that chance. So the women gifted us this grandfather drum. And then when we finished our feasting at the end of the day, we'd pull out these big drums, and the men would sit around the drum, and they would all have their own drumstick, and they would sing their songs together in a group, a drum group. And it was a bonding social experience for those men. And then our children would be around, and they'd be shaking with us and singing and dancing around the circle after we feasted in the evenings. So those grandfather drums were specifically for the men to play, to have a bonding and social time. And the grandmother drums are for anyone to play whenever they feel the urge. And again, our drums are very sacred to us. So when Mama made this drum for me, I birthed it in ceremony, and every year we feast our bundles and our sacred items. And that drum is very much a part of my bundle in the way that I practice my culture. Now, Sunshine, when I was growing up, I never got to drum. I never got to be around medicines. I went to powwow a couple of times, but really, I didn't know anything about the Ojibwe culture. So I didn't grow up drumming, and I've never been really comfortable drumming. But in the past couple years, I've started to sit around the big drum and drum with other men. And I started to learn some hand drumming songs with my friends. Do you want to try and drum a song? Yeah? So I'm going to drum it, but you can sing it along with me if you like to, okay? You want to do that? Now, this song I learned from a beautiful woman called Verna Hardwick. And this song has to do with the water. It's called the Swirling River Water Song. And if you ever go sit by the river and it's swirling around and rushing, it makes a noise. It goes whoosh. Can you do that? Go whoosh, whoosh. Yeah. So the first part of the song goes wishita do-ya, do-ya, do-ya. Wishita do-ya, do-ya, day. Now I want you to try to remember, because you're going to sing along with me, right? And the first part of the song is kind of like the quiet part of the river. We sing that part kind of quiet. But the second part of the song amps up. That's where the river starts to go. And the second part goes, Wishatanea, hey, hey, Wishatanea, hey, hey. You think you can sing that? I'm going to sing, and if you want to sing along with me, you can, okay? So, whenever we begin a song, just like when I do my smudges and I bless that feather in those 4 directions, we always begin with 4 honor beats. 1 beat for each of those 4 directions in the medicine wheel to honor all of those teachings and ancestors. So before we sing, 1 for the east, 1 for the south, 1 for the west, and 1 for the north. Okay? Here we go. Let's try this out. Wishatanea, hey, hey, Wishatanea, hey, hey. Wishita do ya, Wishita do ya, day. Say, babe, say Wishita do ya, Wishita do ya, day. Wishatanea, hey, hey, Wishatanea, hey, hey. Wishatanea, hey, hey, Wishatanea, hey, hey. Wishita do ya, Wishita do ya, day. Wishita do ya, Wishita do ya, day. Wishatanea, hey, hey, Wishatanea, hey, hey. Wishatanea, hey, hey, Wishatanea, hey, hey. That is the Swirling River Water song. I know a few songs, but again, I'm just starting on my learning journey. And I'd like to shout out my buddy Jordan Mowat, because Jordan's really given me a lot of confidence around that big drum. It started to allow me to express myself through singing. Singing is really beautiful. Singing is kind of magical. It's healthy for the spirit, you know, really food for that soul when you can sing out loud like that. So I encourage you guys to sing, especially during this crazy time that we're in right now. It's just good medicine, right? So one thing you might have noticed there too is when we do our rounds, we usually like to do 4 rounds in that song. So we do those 400 beats at the start, and we sing those songs for one of those each directions, and then usually the song is done. So yeah, here's my teaching drum. That's my grandmother drum, my sacred item that I have in my bundle, and there's videos or clips throughout my video today as well of that grandfather drum. So I hope everybody enjoyed that. Bama P. I hope you're being safe. See you next time. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Just a little introduction to Ojibwe traditional drums. Once again, I hope you're being safe out there. I look forward to seeing you all in person really soon. Bama P.